YouTube. I'm so excited that you are here with me and Mani. Mani, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, the cooler
Yeah,
weather has arrived. If you can't tell by
thank
my
God.
ensemble, I have long sleeves on.
Yes, long sleeve. Yeah, okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. If you're familiar with my channel and our lives, welcome back. If you are not, we are talking about we talk about everything that you want as long as it's legal and it relates to spirituality, your relationships with yourself and your relationships with others, and also about all the emotional stuff about the people pleasing, wanting external validation and whatnot, right? All the things that people don't really talk about in the spiritual self-help community, right? Because there everything is good. We need to, smile all the time and like this toxic positivity. So we want to break this cycle. So go ahead. You can ask questions in the chat, or if you are watching the replay, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section, and we'll be doing our best to answer them. Okay, so Mani, do you know what's today's topic? Today's topic is like feeling like nothing is moving. Have you ever felt like nothing is moving, and no matter what you do, you feel like stuck. Nothing is changing, and you are exactly at the same place that you have been up until now, right? And it sometimes it feels a little bit frustrating, and you feel heavy, and yeah, and you feel like a little bit of hopelessness, right? But here's the thing: sometimes when life looks stagnant, it's not stagnant at all because things are happening beneath the surface and behind the scenes that we're not really aware of, and we don't really immediately notice them. What do you think about this topic, Moni?
Oh, definitely true. And I know every single person watching this will have had at least one experience in their life like this, and probably several. And it's really nice to there's two parts to this, really.
Yeah,
So number one is, so we're always taught basically from when we're little that our worth is based in our productivity, so we're always go 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 go. So if
right.
suddenly we're in a spot in our life where we're not moving forward, we're not progressing, we're not doing anything, no matter what it is that we try to do to hurry things along, now it feels negative and we feel ashamed or we feel bad about ourselves because we see everybody else progressing, right, and we're
Exactly,
stuck.
exactly.
Now, the flip side of that is what we need to reprogram our minds to think
Right,
is to honor the pause. You might be really, you might feel like you are stuck. You are not stuck. You are having a pause for your
right.
leveling up. You're not where you are. You're not quite where you want to be yet. There's that space in the middle that gives you
Exactly.
it gives you a place to revalidate what it is that you are looking to do,
Exactly.
what you
So
want. Yeah.
in this live, we're going to touch on what can block your momentum and simple ways for you to create momentum, even if it seems like impossible, right? And like you said, Mani, like stagnation, a lot of the time, it's a label. We perceive it as stagnation, but sometimes it's not stagnation at all. Right? Things are getting prepared behind the scene. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you order a dish, right? So you wait and you see like everyone else like getting their like dish, and you know what? Oh, he got his, his food, and she got his food. But what about me? Oh, they came like 20 minutes later and I still haven't like got my food, right? But little did you know that the chef is behind the scene preparing your food because maybe your dish takes a little bit longer, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the time we see everything from like a limited perspective, and we label it as stagnation because a lot of the time, if you look back, a lot of experience that you experience in your life, a lot of the time after a period of pause or a period of not doing anything, you receive a lot of breakthroughs, right? So
Yeah.
if nothing is happening, it doesn't mean that really nothing is happening, because what we see in our reality is just this 1%, and everything behind the scene is the 99% that we are not aware of, right?
Exactly.
Good evening,
Exactly.
everyone.
Hi.
Hey, hello, Rich.
Or good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Yeah, so
we
if
are
you have
we are
questions,
global. We're
yeah, and
worldwide.
if you have questions, feel free to ask it in the chat. This live is all about if you feel like nothing is moving, it doesn't mean that nothing is moving, right? Okay.
Exactly.
And then
So,
I, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say like,
Mm-hmm.
um, so for everybody who comes in on the chat, if you want to
Hi,
drop in the
everyone.
chat,
Mm-hmm.
yes, or give a thumbs up or a heart if you have felt like you are stuck in your life and nothing is moving forward, because my point is everybody goes through that. So drop a yes in the chat if you felt this too. And we're going to explore ways to
Exactly.
shift and create that momentum. So yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Just by we will talk about it shortly about the power of our words, but just by saying nothing is moving, nothing is happening, I'm stuck, the universe is against me. Just by saying it, you are
Affirming it.
yeah, you are affirming it into reality, right? And because a lot of the time also when we want things, we want, it means that we lack things, like, because this is what we project to the universe when we want something, right? So when we are asking, oh, nothing is moving, what is happening, nothing is happening, we are just affirming it, and we are anchoring in this experience into our reality, right?
Oh, hello from Norway.
Hey, hello from Israel, hello from Norway. Hi, everyone.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the energy and awareness part of this is huge. So
Mm-hmm.
again, this goes back to overriding our old programs that we had installed, that we took in, and it became our operating programs when we were very little, that we learned from our parents, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, like everybody who was older than us basically
Right.
gave us these, what they thought were tools to be able to operate, in what they call reality, basically. So becoming aware of the words that you speak, the thoughts that you think, and how you process your emotions, how things make you feel, is a fantastic step forward in being able to break uh break the bond that that perceived state has on us.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, I'm not saying that if you feel like stuck or whatever, like nothing is moving forward, let's say it's a really effect. I'm not saying to ignore it. What I'm saying is just to not really anchor it in into your reality by affirming it all over again. You can say, instead of saying, what, I'm sad, I'm depressed, or whatever, just pay attention that we needed to separate ourselves from our emotions and what we are feeling right now. So if you feel like sadness, it doesn't mean that you are a sad person, right? You can say, I feel like the power of your word. I feel sadness right now. I feel that nothing is moving, but I'm stuck. Everything is against me, right? And also, it's not really helpful. So it's okay to verbalize your emotions and to give place to your emotions. And also, don't express yourself in a harsh way, right?
Mm.
Because, like, you can say, oh, you know what, I'm going to die, this is like the end of the world. But just by saying it, like, notice the feeling. Whereas you can say, you know what, I feel like, it sucks, right, that it happened. Notice the feeling, because your feeling, if you're feeling it in an ongoing way, this is going to create your reality, right?
Exactly. Exactly. um so shifting that, basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's we all know people, we've experienced people in our lives that come in, and everything just, their lives are just one catastrophe or one bad thing after another after another. But if you listen to how it is that they speak, you're
Right.
realizing basically that, so they're continuously talking about, my life is horrible. I always, I end up with the wrong people to love.
Yes.
Things always break for me. Nothing ever goes my way. Blah blah
Yes.
blah. And every single time they say that, they're perpetuating now this cycle that is
Exactly.
their life, because the universe, like you said, is just one big
Yes.
copying machine. What you're putting out, you're getting back. It doesn't separate between wants and don't wants and good and bad. It gives you what you're focusing on, and it gives you that repeated
Exactly.
experience. So
Like, and I always experience it. Like, it's never happens to me, right? It always happens to me or whatever, right? This is a lot of the time, there is a fine line between expressing your emotions, like an healthy expression of your emotions, and really adopting the victim mentality, right? Like, oh my
exactly.
God, everyone like treating me this way. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And we are not judging. We are not judging, but just pay attention because your external reality is just a reflection of your inner reality, right? So, and a lot of the time, what are your beliefs? Beliefs are thoughts that you think all over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
if you're going to continue to say the same things, you're going to experience the same thing. It's really, really simple. And about the delays, sometimes what we perceive as delays, because a lot of the time, right now, I'm not feeling that well, right? And when you are not feeling that well, you don't want anything. You just want to feel better, right? You just want, like, because really your health is really your wealth, your true wealth. And you know what? And when you think about it, when you just want to feel better, you start to release a lot of resistance,
Yep.
right? Because you're not thinking about wanting things. You're not thinking about, how do I get this? You just really in full surrender state. And when you're in a full surrender state, you release a lot of resistance. And a lot of the time after those, like, really quiet periods, you start to experience a lot of breakthroughs just by you releasing resistance. It's like when you have attachment to something, a lot of the time you have you ever, like, Marnie, like, it happened to me a lot when I really wanted something, and finally I'm just, like, whatever, and I even cried. I released a lot of resistance, and what when I just did it, like, I received what I wanted. Like, it was like magic, right? So a lot of the
Exactly.
time, those experience really going to bring you to your knees or whatever. When you feel like, like, universe, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But this is just part of the process, like the pause and the quiet times. This is just part of the process, part of the journey, right? And it's not your final destination, because sometimes, a lot of the time, growth and evolving, it's not like a linear. Like, when you evolve, it can be like this, right? There are spikes here, and then you feel down, right?
Actually, I view it more as
Yeah, all over the place, all over the place. And you know what? And so, okay, so if you feel like nothing is moving, a big thing that a lot of people struggle with is trusting the process and trusting the timing. And a lot of the time, like most of the time, timing is not of our business. Yes,
nope.
we need to do what we have to do to set intentions, to take inspired actions. But then we need to even, like, to take a step back. And you know what? A lot of the time, all the great things you experience in your life, if you just think about it, you experience them when your focus was elsewhere. Like,
Exactly.
you really wanted something, and you paid, or you put a lot of attention, and but right when you, like, focus on other things or on other areas on your life, oh my God, right?
Exactly.
So this is, so there, it's like a dance. You know when to take a move, and you know when to pause, and you know when to stop, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, the trust and the patience are absolutely key. As a rule, we're especially in today's world, and I'm talking about like the last basically 20 some odd years. We're used to getting things basically instantaneously, as opposed to waiting for weeks or months and having that patience and the knowing that, hey, I
And
ordered this thing, so I know it's being made and it's on its way.
exactly. And a lot of the time of feeling stuck, when you feel stuck, we have a lot of the time fear. Most of us, a lot of the time, we have fear of failure. But what about the fear of success?
That's a big one.
Yeah,
That's a big
because
one.
sometimes we unconsciously self sabotage, right? Because a lot of the time, when you feel like you are going into like a new identity, or you are shifting into a new reality, a new timeline that requires you to be a new version of yourself. A lot of them, oh, no, 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 no. This is like the unknown. It's not familiar. Oh, I just want to go back into my little box here. And we want, like, consciously, we want the success, but simultaneously, we have a lot of fears, right?
Yep.
Because this is the unknown. It requires us to be a different version of ourselves that we haven't like experienced yet. And this is scary, right?
It can
So
be. It
yeah,
can
so
be.
I just invite you, if you feel like stuck or you feel like nothing is moving, ask yourself, do you have like a little habits, or are you noticing that right before a big breakthrough, you are returning into your old ways, right?
You're trying to. You're trying to
Yeah,
because your
I'm not
your
saying,
little ego brain is going, no, 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 this is unknown. I don't know if we can survive here.
right,
We need
which
to
is
go
saying
back.
trusting the process is a balancing act,
Balancing
right?
act.
Right. So yeah, so a lot of the time, what I wanted to say, when you trust the process, right? When you make this leap of faith, then you're going to see
Yes.
a whole new reality, but it requires a lot of courage and a lot of trust in the universe, right? Because if we don't take those leap of faith, we stay right where we are and we just start to ask, oh, nothing is moving. But you know what? If not, that's a saying, if nothing is moving, nothing is moving, right? So if you're not going to take some actions or to initiate things, right? Nothing will actually move.
Exactly. Definitely. Yeah. We need to stay hydrated. So when what's one thing that you like to tell people to do to basically to interact with themselves to be the impetus to move forward?
Yeah, okay. So the first thing, simple guideline, excuse me, it's awareness. Awareness. Just by asking the question, why is nothing is happening? Why am I stuck? Right? Just be aware to self talk. Manny, you go ahead. My throat.
All right, that's okay. So actually, so here's the thing. Whenever you feel really stuck, okay, so you're aware of the feeling. Stop comparing your path to the path that others are on when you see them progressing. This isn't a comparison race. Like,
Right,
really, it's an individual journey. We honor everybody's individual journey. But the thing is that you want to be able to create a little bit of momentum. So what's one small thing that you can do today to feel movement? And so that's something that if you're familiar with, you can share your tips in the chat. Whether it's journaling, whether it's just listening to a really good piece of music and getting up and dancing in your house like
right,
nobody's watching. You
right,
create, you pull yourself out of that particular. Now you don't need to keep pulling stuff from
right.
back there into here. sort of
Yeah,
thing. So
let's
yeah.
look at the comments, which is saying we cannot see energy, but we know it's there. Right. We feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to trust. Right. You can't say that there's no air, there's no oxygen. Oxygen.
Although in poor Lamore's case, she needs a little more of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
Poor
Ilana
thing.
is saying that we are right. The other lady is Mani. Mani. This is her name.
Hi. Sorry, I forgot to
Yes,
introduce myself.
yes,
Um,
that's
so
okay.
yeah, even
Okay,
even the small steps can lead to like big breakthroughs. Like she says, though, you need to detach from the outcome and get rid of the comparison, because comparison is the thief of joy and
exactly.
your path isn't somebody else's. So let's
And
take
you
that off the table.
right, and you know what? There's a saying that someone taught me, and I embrace it until today. Right? When I was like at the first step, the initial step of my spiritual awakening, you feel really isolated, and people leave, and you feel by yourself, and you feel a lot of despair, right? And what about you? Don't need to ask a lot of big questions, but then your mind comes and, oh, what is going to happen with me? I'm doomed. Like, nothing is going to improve or whatever, or what is the purpose of everything? So I had a coach and I told him, like, what is the purpose? So he told me, what, Limor, right now your purpose is just to exist.
Yes. And
That's
that
your
seems
purpose.
totally foreign, isn't it? Like that just seems
Yes,
like just
to
to
exist, because
exist.
we live like in a society, you have to go, 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 go. But
Mhm.
just by existing, just by being present, you can open a lot of doors for yourself. Because I said it and I'm going to say it again, most of your problems come from your mind. And your mind is
Yeah.
mostly in the past or in the future. So, what is your solution? The present moment, right?
It's all we got. We got the
The
now. And RB says yeah, they have to
rich,
go.
yeah.
So yeah, it was nice to see
Oh,
you. Thanks
okay,
for
rich.
joining the chat.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So, bye, Rich.
Oh, she
Yes.
did the little oh, super cool.
So what we were saying about them?
Okay, so let's just, while I've got this in my head, because she was mentioning before, one of the one of the things that we really need to become
Bye, Rich.
genuinely aware of. Okay, so spiritual awakening, we find out that, everything vibrates on a
Right.
frequency. Love is a frequency, you know, uh, sadness is a frequency, like the whole nine yards, right? So our voice box, when we draw air
Mhm.
through it, basically when we force air in, we're creating a vibration. Our voices create this vibration and this frequency that go out into the ether basically and bounce back into our 3D reality. So what we want to focus on is the words that we speak. We've been taught that certain responses are acceptable and this is how life is.
Yes.
Let's try and take that and flip that. So instead of saying, I hate da 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 da, whatever that hate tends to be. Hate is a very, very low vibration. And that is going to bring low vibration things into your existence, into your presence, into your reality. So instead of saying I hate, you can say I dislike how this makes me feel. I dislike how this person da 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 makes me feel.
Yeah.
It's taking that and just taking that low vibration out of it, but recognizing that it's creating something in you where you need to examine that feeling, give it credence, and get rid of it because you don't need it anymore. That's what they call
Exactly.
being triggered. So
So
when you speak high vibration things, sorry, I feel sadness every day, but nothing happens bad
yeah,
to me. I
Ilana is
don't know why.
asking. Yeah, you know what? Most of the time, when you feel sadness, this is from your mind, right? So the first thing I encourage you to do is to recognize that you are not the sadness. You are the witness of your thoughts and your
Mhm.
emotion. And the practical
Take your time.
practice, yeah. And the practical practice you can do is to start practicing being the observer of your thought. Let's say I feel negative emotion or sadness or whatever. So this is me anymore, and this is my emotions. There are two separate things. This is what we call mindfulness, right? So this practice, and I encourage you to take mindfulness practices that will really help you to drop down into the present moment, because a lot of the time those negative emotions come from our thoughts. So ask yourself, what thoughts am I thinking? And realize that that's it. Actually, that's your mind, and that's not really who you are. You are the witness of your thoughts and your emotions, right? And when you start to not to identify it so much with your emotion and thought, you will start to feel a sense of peace, right? So even just more practices that you can use while you are like washing your hands under the water. Pay attention to the smell of the soap, or when you touch something, right? You have to use like your five senses. They will help you to drop down into the present moment, right? And when you are fully in the present, your mind with time over time, it's not going to affect you that much. So if like a sad thoughts or something negative is going through your mind, it's not going to affect you that much. But that's a practice that you have to do like for weeks and months. That's a lifestyle. So that's my answer. I hope I answered it.
So even it's not so serious. No, okay. So Alana, okay. Here's the thing. Somebody gets angry at you. That has nothing really to do with you. That is a reflection of what you represent, or the energy that you're putting out to whatever person and how they interpret it. It's basically them looking at a mirror and they're reflecting back something that they don't like within themselves. It really does not have anything to do with you. However, we've also been taught that we need to take other people's emotions and well-being. That's our responsibility. our
Exactly.
res- our responsibility is to treat each other gently and with respect, and we can only meet people where they are on their journey.
Right.
we
And
we can't change their growth.
right. And you don't have control or other people react or respond to you. The only
Yeah.
thing that you have control over is your response to the situation, right? So if you want to, to not let it affect you, this is really deep. But I've noticed from my own journey that the more I was more authentic with myself and living in alignment to my values. Let's say if someone is crossing my boundaries, or if I stay silent, so it's not cool, right? So I started to put boundaries with people, or I started to put. So the more you are authentic with yourself and living according to your values, right? And put boundaries with people, the more easier for you it be to not take their emotions on you. And most likely, if you feel other people emotions, most likely you're an empath, you are really sensitive to other people emotions. And a lot of the time, we're empath. When we grew up in a home that a lot of things happened, and we, in order to not get our parents mad or something, we need to adjust according to their energy. And then we grow up and we start, to have experiences when we please other people, or we stay silent, we don't express ourselves, or we take it personally if someone is stepping on our one of our boundaries. But it's our responsibility to communicate it when it's necessary. Sometimes people just do what they do, what? But the more you are going to make yourself strong within yourself, it will become easier for you to face those outside, interruptions
Mhm.
or whatever, right? And you just like, you know what, whatever. She just said that, I don't mind. You just move on. But it's a practice. So the more you are going to do the inner work for you to feel really strong within yourself, right? The more easy it will be for you to communicate those boundaries to others and to not let those experiences affect you that much.
Yeah. So she's saying, when people say things to her, when she gets mad, she, she reacts. So she
Yes.
speaks back because,
So
so, people that say hurtful things have been hurt, and it doesn't
right.
give them leave to hurt you, but your reaction to that is entirely in
Yes.
your hands. So when
Yes.
you just let something fly out, if somebody says something to you and it's hurtful, basically you can say, okay, I understand you're feeling hurt, but you know what, that really doesn't have anything to do with me, and
Yeah.
I
And
don't
that's
care to
why
discuss this at this time.
I encourage you when you feel really triggered with others, like a lot of the time, practicing mindfulness will help you because when you are present, when you are all by yourself, when nothing is triggering you, you like adding your expand your awareness and your energy. And when you are being triggered by others, first you're going to be aware of it, right? Oh my God, I was just triggered. And this is being present, right? Instead of being really identify with what's happening, right? And a lot of the time people will say things and we believe them because he said it to me, so it must be right, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
just yeah. So just by practicing being present and willing to expand your energy, that energy will going to serve you when you're dealing with those kinds of people, right? And sometimes, sometimes we are going to be triggered and we need to pay attention also to if there's a specific theme that triggering us in a consistent way.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's something that we have to look on and you say, you know what, why am I so triggered? Because a lot of the time, I just say my experience with working with a lot of people,
exactly.
a lot of time when we experience trauma and we haven't fully expressed this trauma and we suppressed it. So anytime someone is going to cross a boundary, this trauma will resurface and we're going to be triggered. So there's a lot of layers, but the simple ways that you can do right now is just to practice mindfulness and being present.
Exactly. And it is a practice. It's not something that you'll get right away. So be gentle with yourself when you're learning new stuff.
Exactly. Okay. So a quick guide. If you feel like nothing is moving forward in your life, right, and nothing is happening, so first notice if you think that nothing is happening, it doesn't mean that nothing is really happening, right? It doesn't
Exactly.
mean like that. It means that just maybe this is part of the journey. It's like a bow and an arrow. You have to slow down, right, before you make like a progress, right? So okay, be aware of your self-talk. What is your
Definitely.
self-talk? Are you constantly, oh universe, you didn't, why am I not getting it? When is it going to happen? I feel so stuck. Nothing is happening. Just by
Nothing is
because the
moving.
present
Yeah.
moment is a clean slate, right? So just by saying it, you create your future, right?
So here's the thing though. I'm going to give you a second just to grab your water.
Yes.
So, okay. So we are taught when we're little, basically if somebody says something that you don't like and you take offense to it, or they say bad things to you, and that makes you feel like, hey, you shouldn't be saying those things to me because you da 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 da. Well, I want you to recognize that is old programming. That's the way we were taught. It's not the way that it needs to be. So yes, you know what, people are going to say and do hurtful things, but the, ah, you froze. There you go. Um, So when you're going through those things, when you go through, Ilana, when you go through another one of those interactions with your friend, instead of immediately launching back the most hurtful thing or a counterpoint that you can bring up, I just want you to say, I recognize that you're not feeling in a good space to be talking right now, so I'm not going to discuss this further. You take care of your energy. This is my boundary.
Exactly. And sometimes the best react is just going away.
Yep.
Say, don't entertain kind of energy, right? So you can use your intuition when to respond and when it's a appropriate time to just, leave it as it is, because there are certain people that are not going to change. But a lot of the time, if we experience something consistently in our outer reality, is a reflection of something inside of us. Like when I'm triggered about, when we're triggered about something, usually we had like a bad experience that relates to that thing. And every time, sometimes it's like talking about it or saying something that trigger us, most likely it relates to this like bad experience. I don't want to, it doesn't have to be like trauma, just a negative experience that you fully weren't like express the emotions that relate to this experience, Barney.
Yep. You're to see, here's the thing. Not everyone is entitled to the full authentic you. They're not entitled to access your energy without your permission. So you get to decide what you interact with and how deeply you interact with it. So this is establishing a healthy boundary. So if you don't wish to interact with somebody, you don't have to interact with somebody. And again, you can only meet them where they are. So I know this comes back to being conscious of the words that you speak, sort of thing. But
Right. And
again,
boundaries, a lot of the time, I want to say about boundaries, a lot of the time are really internal boundaries. A lot of the time, because when you have like a internal boundaries, and you know what, I'm not going to let anyone treat me this way, and you're just thinking it to yourself, right? And you just made a decision. You know what? A lot of the time, people won't even try because they will feel that energy from you, and they're just not going to do anything, right?
so how can you defend yourself from those people? Walk away. Just walk away. You don't have
Yeah.
to
So
interact
defend
with
yourself
them.
from these people.
That's it. Just
And also, use your intuition. And also, I encourage you, because I think maybe Ilana, you're an empath. You can feel other people energies. And I have a video about empaths. What I used
it's a
to
good
do,
one.
I imagine a white bubble surrounding my body, right? So if someone sending me like bad energies, I'm like in my mind, I have like a barrier. So I
Yep.
don't let it come into my energy field.
Yep. You get to
Right?
decide what it is you interact with. You decide. You
Exactly.
have the choice. You have the power.
Exactly.
We're taught we need to, we need to entertain people. Everybody needs access to us and we need to internalize everything that we're told. No, we don't. We don't. So if I work with them and every day they with me, sometimes I can't walk away. Yep, that's where you just put up your bubble saying we're not having this conversation. I choose not to participate. We can talk about work.
Yeah, it's intense. The more I want to say, Elana, the more you are going to be strong within yourself and to
Mhm.
work internally, other people will start to reflect it back to you. I'm not saying that it's, that you are the problem or whatever, but a lot of the time, what you expect, you will see this expectation in your outer reality, right? So the best thing for you to do is to practice being present and to be more strong within yourself. And this is like an energetic shift that it takes a little bit of time. But when you feel stronger within yourself, it's not going to affect you that much, or the circumstances in your reality will change with those people.
Now,
Okay, so
here's
my
a
final word.
I was gonna say we could give her a good ask formation that
Mhm.
she could repeat basically.
Just
So Ilana,
just
yeah.
explain what is an ask formation.
Okay, so instead of an affirmation, which is saying, I am wealthy, I am powerful, I am abundant, well, your little ego mind goes, no, you don't. And it creates resistance. And ask formation basically bypasses that and assumes it's already been done. You don't have the why, but now your subconscious is going, wait a second. So an affirmation is something that is assumed to be in the past. It's not in the present, but it's already happened. So, why do I get to work with the most amazing fun people I have ever had in my entire life? Why do I
Right,
enjoy going in and interacting with my coworkers every single day? Why do I feel fulfilled at work? Why am I surrounded by the right people? These are the things that you want to just
right,
say to yourself, and just you watch, it's coming into
right.
your reality.
Just say it in front of the mirror before you
Yeah.
go to sleep and in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay?
You want to be good to others. That's okay. You want to be mindful with others, but and you want to wish them well, sort of thing. But a lot of that, if they are not proving good in your existence, in your present, sort of thing, again, they don't deserve
Yeah.
full access to your authenticity. It's not going to work. So,
Yeah.
um yeah, so again, so Alana, what it is that you're
And
putting
also,
down here.
don't be so hard on
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. So when you're saying what you're just writing here, I'm so bad. No, no, you're not bad. You're learning. We're all learning. We're all works in progress. But the thing is, again, I want you to be
Exactly.
conscious about what you're writing about and what you're thinking about and what you're speaking. Remember, frequency and vibration. This voice goes out into the ether and brings back that experience that you're speaking out. And people wonder why the same things keep happening to them over and over and over and expecting a different result. So, my
Exactly.
so not just for Alana, but for anybody out there, because I'm still learning too to turn my language around from what I was taught, what became my paradigm and my operating program some 50 some odd
Right.
years ago, right? Taking those things that I accepted as real and as part of my paradigm and flipping them and finding that own truth within you, which is, you are good. You are, you are light. You are learning. You are a masterpiece in progress.
Right.
So, yeah. Be open.
Okay, so if you feel like nothing, so this
Yeah.
live it was about if you feel like nothing is moving, right? So realize that stagnation oftentimes is just a label, right? Because sometimes things seem stagnant, but they not really are. Things are happening behind the scenes, right? And even if you don't see any results just yet, just realize that this is part of the process.
It is.
Sometimes you have to slow down to see a forward movement, right? So, and be gentle with yourself. And also, just realize that, you are exactly where you are supposed to be, right? Don't compare your journey to others
Nope.
people. Everyone is here with their journey. So,
No, I just
okay,
want to
so I
mention
just,
to
yeah.
Alana that she may benefit from your 30-minute clarity call.
Yeah, yeah, I offer a 30-minute clarity call, okay, for free. We can identify a lot of your blocks and what can really help you move forward, right? So, Mani, final words?
Oh, this has been amazing again. I just love doing these, and especially when we're talking about being more conscious on your words, because I have a lot of experience to offer in this area. But
Yeah,
everybody,
exactly.
yes, you're always where you're supposed to be, and as part of this spiritual awakening, it's being conscious of the now, what's going on in the now. So if you feel like you're not moving forward, just have the faith. Everything's working behind the scenes. You don't always see how your food gets
Exactly.
prepared, but you know it's going to be coming out to you at the right time. So
Exactly. And remember, sometimes your purpose is just to exist. You know,
yes, I'm
one
learning
more
that
thing
too.
that
That's
I'm
a big
going to
one.
say, if you watch older people, which I really respect, you can see they move really slow. They're fully present in the moment, right? So when you're fully present, you feel more peaceful. You can see them like sitting on a bench and just enjoying life and enjoying all the little things that we forgot. Why? Because they move slow, because sometimes they can move faster. So they are so present in the moment. Right? We have so much to learn from them. So sometimes slowing down, it's the best thing to your nervous system, right?
Yep.
It's like a clearing. It's like you clear all the, all the dust and all the things,
Glow
right?
Supreme's
Hey,
here.
hello.
Hey.
Hey, Blood Supreme from school. School is in the house.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have like we're about to end this live, but if you have question, Joe, Joe, just ask it, right?
Absolutely.
Hey,
Just ask
hey.
it. Hey.
Okay,
And thank you
so
so
if
much
you're
for
watching
tuning
the
in.
Yeah, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and ask your question in the comment section. Yes, Limo, sometimes we forget about ourselves. Right.
Forget about being nice to ourselves. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? And you know what the paradox? When you start to be nice to yourself, people will start to be nice to you because they're just a reflection of your inner dialogue. So I experience it all the time. When we want to make something right, I look within myself first, right? So yeah, okay. So thank you for watching.
Thanks,
We are
everybody.
appreciate. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you're watching live or you watch the replay, and thank you for engaging in the chat. We appreciate it so much. And we're going to see you again next Wednesday. And take advantage of my 30-minute clarity call. You can find the link below. And we're going
Yes.
to see you next week. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. Let's do a little heart money.
Back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
Yay!
Yeah. There we go. We got it. Woo!
Yay! Much love,
All right.
everyone. Bye bye. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.